Hi, good morning. Well, one thing I want to just clarify, because this information that I'm going to present today, it comes from different places. You see me here talking today, but I talked to farm workers, I talked to my outreach coordinator, I talked to one of the farmers, and I talked to different people from the community, just to go beyond my own observations and the knowledge that we have in our agency. So imagine that there's a group of people here back in the south. The other thing that I want to share is that I grew up in Baja California Sur in this beautiful place called Los Cabos. So I know kind of where we're going. I went to school, no air conditionings, all the way to high school. We will be writing on our notebooks, and you'll just detach your arm from the paper because it got stuck from the sweat. And I see that those things are getting closer to our community here. See if I got this right. So I want to paint a picture. Many of you are familiar with farm workers, but I think in this room probably some of you don't know much, and just want to help you imagine the labor that they do. And yes, on the coast, it's not as hot as on the Central Valley, and that was one of the things that the farm workers I talked to told me. It's like, well, this is not as bad as down there. But just imagine they bend a lot during the day. They walk a lot to get to where they have to work. Most of the day they are really outdoors. And the ones that are not outdoors are in these greenhouses that are super big, and the goal is to keep them really hot. So heat is something that correlates with them in a big way. So some of the illnesses that are going to be related to that are definitely heat related. Now, we have better policies in California, so employers, farmers in this case, are obligated to provide certain measures to avoid these illnesses, including heat-related illnesses training for the workers. Now, this is the thing with farm workers. Most of them are immigrant, most of them are undocumented. So they have a lot of fears to actually making sure that these policies get respected and that the employers actually provide everything that they need to provide. They're going to develop allergies, and we've seen more in the last 2 years, people actually coming to our clinic that we hold at Puente with Costa Clinic, actually talking about allergies. Honestly, growing up, there's not something that even we talk about. But here, the heat is producing more flowers, is producing more pollen, and is correlated to allergies. And I'll touch really quick on economic disruption right now, but that is one of the biggest really problems, because agricultural workers come here seeking something better what they had in their home country. And at least on the coast, we're talking about people from Mexico, the majority, some people from Salvador, some people from Guatemala. And I sometimes stop myself from calling my community resilient, because resilient kind of means you put up with everything. And I think sometimes you just get tired that farm workers have to put up with everything. Plus, being a woman of color often takes twice of advocacy work for us to get some things changed or improved. And so I'll say that they're resilient, but just in the sense that they are here to work, and they work really hard. And so when the heat or the rain or the flood or immigration threats reduces the number of hours that they work, they feel that they're not fulfilling the reason why they came here in the first place. So heat is going to have a big issue with their economic situation. Now at Puente, we used to focus actually on winter protection, and so we partnered with the county to provide winter items for the workers during the November-December season. This year we started talking about heat protection. And so, we were thinking about warm hats and jackets and sleeping bags. And now we are distributing water bottles, we've done sunglasses, and there's just a whole other thing that we need to think about that we didn't in the past. A lot of the workers live in housing that is provided by the farms, but a lot of them live in places where they can find a place. I wish that you had that housing, and I try to be very fair about how I describe that in the community, because there's this amazing housing provided by some people that they just think it's the right thing to do, and we go all the way to housing that is not heated in the winter and is not cool during the hot season. And People are very reluctant to report these conditions, like Molly was saying. One, because housing is a struggle anywhere in the Bay Area. Well, you will think it's not in Pescadero or on the South Coast, but it is. It's just really hard, it's really expensive, so people are afraid to lose a place, so they will not report if something is not functioning. Now, I have not been really in places where there's a heating and cooling system. So you see the big fans when you go into people's homes, which also sucks up a lot of electricity, but is the only source of cooling that they're going to have. Even in our offices, we don't have a cooling system. We never needed it. And for the past 2 years, we've been trying to install it. This is the real changes of the South Coast. No one wants to come and do that work in our place because it's too far away and it's a very little project. They're working with big companies on this side. But again, we didn't need it until probably the past 2 years. Now, legal status is a real concern for people, and that's why the community is so resilient, and that's why they put up with a lot of the things. The workers are supposed to have shade, and if you drive through the farms, there's some that are actually very well conditioned to provide that shade, but a lot of the places do not have it. Now, people are supposed to have breaks, and in general, those breaks are respected, but people have to walk to a place to get shade, to get a break. So often what they do is that they take the breaks in their cars. Now, since 2015, everybody accumulates sick time. Our workforce are so afraid of requesting sick time. So if they don't feel well, or if they had a heat exhaustion, or any other problem, they're very reluctant to request sick time. And actually, putting this together, I realized that there's an opportunity to collaborate with farmers too, because I think the people that work with the workforce, they're not even familiar also about how that works. And so most of the time, people just do not use it. I know one farm worker that we convinced him to talk to the farm and actually get 1 day off to go to the hospital. We need to work harder now on proper hydration. There's some cultural problems here. People work just really hard, and there's still a macho culture particularly. And so, they can do this job. They don't need to take the breaks. They don't need to wear the hat. They don't need to wear the sunscreen. And so there's a lot of outreach and education that we have to do to protect. We recommend task rotation. Some farms do, some farms don't. We try to do the hardest jobs in the morning when it's cooler, and then the lightest jobs later on when it gets hotter. And this is an example of one of those greenhouses that I was talking about. And sun protection, definitely. We had a large conversation yesterday about clothing at our office because people protect themselves and they cover themselves up a lot because they start working really early. They sweat, they get wet, they keep the same clothes during the day. And my outreach coordinator and I ended up saying like, okay, we're in Silicon Valley. There gotta be some, dry fit or some different clothing, and we just, we haven't talked about it enough now to maybe provide actually some clothing to farm workers that is better suited for the heat. I think that we still need to do awareness with employers about identifying some of the heat-related illnesses. And then I wanted everybody to make aware that there's the San Mateo County Healthcare for the Homeless and Farm Workers program, which actually really focuses on supporting agricultural workers at their workplace. And there's this street and medicine team that goes directly to the farms and provides like clinic services in there. And I think they are actually already getting a lot of more phone calls from people that want to see them there because they don't want to use their time to go to the clinic. They run the service to come to them because at the end of the day, this ends up being an equity problem. People just don't want to not earn their wages. There's about 1,700 identified farm workers on the coast based on the last agricultural housing study that the county did. And again, most of them are in the Half Moon Bay and Pescadero area. One of the challenges that I've seen, we did first aid and CPR training for foremen at the farms a few years back, and I think we just need to find resources to do those more regularly because now we really have to train peers and co-workers to be able to identify the signs for some of the heat illness related. issues so that they can support each other and recommend when someone actually has to stop working and take a break. So these are some of the things that I see in the fields, and I again encourage, our county has taken some good measures to support farm workers, but I think everybody should, consider that heat affects particularly those that are older and those that are working outdoors. And this focuses on them, but now you can imagine also the impact on their families, the children that go to school, and the conditions that they have in their housing as well. Thanks.